There is no way.
He has no use for Harry and Meghan, nor should he, because they've been terrible to him.
This entire strange enterprise is baffling and surely doomed to fail.
She definitely has collateral on Harry.
At some point, don't we just have to draw a line?
There is absolutely no way that Prince William would be letting this happen if she was not blackmailing him.
No chance. Charles has zero reason to keep Harry and Meghan in the fold, and he knows it. They've treated him horribly. That's the refrain echoing through royal circles. Yet the Sussexes still hover at the margins of palace life. Courtiers now whisper the only explanation they can accept: blackmail.
There is some sort of Epstein-esque thing going on, that she has video, pictures, whatever.
Meghan Markle, they insist, is holding something real, documented, devastating over Harry and possibly over William and the palace itself. A stone-cold guarantee that everyone keeps quiet. One veteran aide dropped the most frightening phrase yet: it's Epstein-esque. Imagine files, hidden video, private hotel suite recordings. Nothing verified, but the possibility alone has frozen Kensington into silence. An unnatural quiet that for royals is louder than any denial. A source swears Meghan has already delivered the warning in private. Cross me again and the insurance surfaces. She doesn't need to disclose the material. A hint it exists is enough. Staff who once leaked freely now measure every word, terrified of the unknown payload. If she didn't have hard collateral, Prince William would never tolerate this circus. That blunt verdict comes from a commentator close to the Wales camp. William's reluctance to strike back isn't about diplomacy. Insiders say he's muzzled by fear of what Meghan might unleash.
And she has told this to the palace, and she's like, if you guys cross me, then I'm gonna release it.
Flashpoint that convinced them. Her rosé wine launch timed of all days for Princess Diana's birthday. Royal reporter Kinsey Schofield describes William's private reaction as deeply upset and disgusted. To him, a luxury alcohol drop on the birthday of a woman killed in an alcohol-related crash felt like a calculated insult. Worse, it shattered a pact the brothers forged after Diana's death: never monetize their mother's memory, especially not on her birthday or the anniversary of her crash. William aide's claim has upheld that vow without fail. Harry, by allowing Meghan's launch, appeared to betray it. So why no palace pushback, no tight-lipped correction or leaked rebuke? Courtiers think Meghan made her position clear: test me, and watch the vault open. Behind Kensington's closed doors, the tension peaked when William learned just how meticulously Meghan had mapped the launch. It wasn't a clumsy coincidence, it was pre-planned months in advance, long before Charles's cancer rumors or Harry's latest public wobble. That revelation, insiders say, flipped William's fury into something colder: the realization that Meghan's moves are strategic, not careless, and that Harry is either complicit or cornered. Meanwhile, Harry's visible unraveling feeds the theory. In interviews he seems vacant. On stage he rambles, rubbing the back of his neck like a man lost in his own skin. Supporters who once blamed the palace now fear for him, describing an emotionally sedated prince who looks trapped rather than liberated. One media strategist argues Harry isn't simply tired, he's being managed, kept docile by pressures he can't escape.
Told me it's not lost on Prince William that Meghan has launched an alcohol brand on his mother's birthday, the very mum he lost in a drink driving tragedy. When I asked if there was anger around Meghan using Diana's birthday to promote her commercial products, they said it's what he's come to expect from her. He doesn't think much of her. And they said that William and Catherine have become quite good at ignoring the Sussexes, but anything to do with his mother is still a tender spot. I'm curious to know your opinion. Can you believe that she would release an alcohol product, launch this big brand on Diana's birthday, who died at the hands of a drunk driver?
That shift has even seasoned staff muttering a grim new label for Meghan: not partner, handler. What could force such paralysis? Courtiers point back to the alleged insurance file. Rumor paints it as a digital trove scattered across encrypted drives and cloud vaults. Text threads, voice notes, hotel camera footage, perhaps even recordings from Montecito itself. Meghan, they say, curated it long before Megxit, anticipating every scenario. A palace insider likens it to a live grenade. Everyone knows she's holding it. Nobody knows if the pin is out. Against that backdrop, William's silence feels less like restraint and more like survival. Senior aides now practice the art of the unfinished sentence, trading terms such as potential exposure, sensitive material, undeniable proof, then stopping short. The hush itself has become proof of their dread. And yet those same aides insist the tipping point arrived when Diana's legacy morphed into a marketing hook. That was the moment William supposedly crossed from hurt into genuine hatred, not a word he uses lightly. Still, the palace issued no statement, and the public saw only dignified silence. Observers conclude that silence isn't diplomacy, it's capitulation to an unspoken threat. Behind the scenes, another figure tightens control, Queen Camilla. With Charles reportedly battling incurable cancer, sources say she's drawn a hard line. Harry's calls are filtered, access restricted, every conversation measured against risk. Camilla's priority, one aide claims, is containment. Protect the crown first, all sentiment second. And if stripping titles becomes the only shield against potential leaks, the palace is prepared to wield that sword. Yet Meghan's game thrives on provocation. Critics argue, outrage drives clicks, anger fuels sales. Every scandal is free advertising. The Rosé launch proved it. Online fury translated into brand buzz. Insiders now brace for her next drop, rumored to coincide with another royal milestone. They call it grief marketing, profit by poking the family's deepest wounds. William, sources say, is bracing too, because if silence is the price of keeping that vault closed, how long before the cost becomes unbearable? And if Meghan truly holds the grenade, how much longer can the palace stand frozen, hoping she never decides to let it fall? Lady Elizabeth Anson's voice, recorded in calm, measured tones before her death, now drifts through Kensington like a ghost. The Queen never believed Meghan loved Harry. She engineered it. Excerpts from Anson's private memoir tapes have leaked, and insiders say the late monarch's most trusted cousin went further. She claimed Harry once shouted at his grandmother during a 10-minute phone call orchestrated by Meghan. She recounted how the Queen sensed the mask slipping long before Megxit. She cited the wedding dress row as proof Meghan valued drama over duty. For a family that weaponizes discretion, these posthumous words cut deeper than any tabloid. Reporters note the palace's reaction. No denial, just a tightening of lips and a flurry of calls to lawyers. Because if more tape segments surface, the Sussex love story collapses under Buckingham's own testimony.
There is no way Meghan Markle deserves to be at Charles's funeral. She accused him of being a racist, for God's sake.
And Meghan's claim to victimhood fractures in public view. That prospect terrifies brand managers on both coasts, especially in Hollywood, where the couple's star has already dimmed. Once, A-listers tripped over themselves to host the Rebel Royals. Now doors close quietly. Their absence at the Bezos-Sanchez yacht wedding said it louder than any headline. They're radioactive. Comedian Tim Dillon even claimed on his podcast that hosts receive cold calls from Sussex reps begging for invites, only to be warned off by other guests. One producer calls it PR quicksand. You think she brings buzz, but she really brings problem. Even Netflix, once their golden goose, is reportedly re-evaluating deliverables after lukewarm reception to recent projects. Insiders say Meghan knows her relevance depends on controversy. Margins on her white-labeled rosé, private label skincare and rebranded lifestyle goodies are razor thin. The profit is in the outrage. You're not buying wine, a British columnist sneered. You're buying rebellion, hence the timing. Diana's, hence rumors the next launch will hijack another royal anniversary. Rage equals reach, and reach equals sales. Meanwhile, Harry seems to hollow by the week. Observers track the telltale signs: vacant gaze during panels, rambling tangents at mental health summits, constant neck rubbing, shoulders hunched. Some whisper about medication, others fear darker crutches. Aides note that loyal staffer James Holt suddenly liked posts tied to William's circle. A silent SOS. Royal commentators now label Meghan his handler, not partner, and wonder aloud if Harry's sedation, emotional or chemical, is what keeps the Sussex machine rolling. Queen Camilla, seasoned by decades of scandal, has moved into crisis mode. With Charles battling what Lady Colin Campbell bluntly calls incurable cancer, Camilla's mission is containment. Harry's calls are routed through layers. Meghan's emails vanish into spam filters. Legal teams dust off title revocation drafts. An unthinkable option now placed squarely on the table should Meghan's alleged vault detonate. That vault is palace folklore now, whispered in staff corridors. Encrypted drives, iCloud backups, footage from luxury hotel corridors, Montecito Nest cam files, audio of Royal Rose. She's not bluffing, one senior aide confided. The grenade is real. We just don't know if the pin's still in. The fear is so sharp that lifelong leakers have gone mute. Phrases like potential exposure and constitutional threat hover, never explained. Yet Meghan keeps testing boundaries. Hollywood doors shut, she knocks louder. Insiders predict desperation branding. Ever bolder stunts to stay headline-worthy. Critics call it grief marketing. Strategists call it the last profitable card she holds. Amid that spiral, whispers of divorce, once tabloid fodder gain legal heft. London firms that handle aristocratic splits confirm anonymous inquiries matching Harry's profile. Questions about asset division, brand unwinding, custody logistics. One barrister says the scope is unprecedented. A love story worth hundreds of millions in IP. Publishing spies claim Meghan has already canvassed ghostwriters for a solo memoir, flirting with titles like Betrayal, Freedom, Truth. Scorched earth is her fallback if palace walls close in. Advisors fret, if Meghan pushes first, Harry might finally fight back, vault or no vault. But timing is everything. Whoever moves first controls the narrative. Whoever hesitates could watch their reputation burn. And so a hush blankets Buckingham and Montecito alike. The dreadful quiet before a microphone crackles or a Dropbox link leaks. Crisis consultants rehearse statements. IT teams scan server logs. Camilla's circle widens the firewall around a frail king. William, still seething over that rosé stunt, waits, every fiber ready to strike once the threat is confirmed. Harry stands at the epicenter, eyes glazed, shoulders heavy, perhaps wondering how a fairy tale escape turned into gilded captivity. What happens if Meghan actually drops the evidence? Courtier whispers envision constitutional crisis, titles stripped, emergency parliamentary sessions, Commonwealth realms questioning the crown's fitness. For now, everyone holds their breath, counting the seconds of silence, praying the pin remains in place.
There are reports that Meghan, who wears Diana's jewelry constantly, is fixated on her as well. I believe in Tom Bauer's book, he says it's her objective to be Diana 2.0.
Hollywood used to treat the Sussexes like novelty royalty. Now producers flinch when their names appear on guest lists. That shift snapped into focus the day Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez exchanged vows on their $500 million yacht. Clooney's, Kardashians, DiCaprio. Everyone sparkled on the deck except Harry and Meghan. According to comedian Tim Dillon, who actually runs in those LA circles, the couple's reps phoned hosts begging for invitations. People literally said, "Don't make it weird, keep them out." The message, a Sussex sighting, no longer adds star power. It adds chaos. PR quicksand, a studio executive calls it. You think Meghan brings buzz? She really brings problems. Uncertain NDAs, unpredictable headlines, and rumors of hidden recordings. Netflix, once their sure thing benefactor, is reportedly cooling too. Consultants whisper about underperforming deliverable. With deals wobbling and wine margins razor thin, she's relabeling mid-shelf rosé, not bottling prestige. Meghan's only marketing lever is outrage. Grief sells better than grapes, one brand strategist shrugs. That's why she timed the rosé drop for Diana's birthday. The fury created clicks, which created sales. You aren't purchasing wine, you're purchasing rebellion, and at $30 a bottle, the markup is literal. Hence the nickname now floating through Fleet Street columns. Meghan Markle. Sources insist her next product, maybe fragrance, maybe skincare, has already been penciled for another sentimental royal date. Possibly an anniversary tied to William and Kate. Palace aides have drafted a non-response plan. Say nothing, feed the algorithm nothing. Even so, William is bracing. Meghan's Diana fixation already turns his stomach. The jewelry, the borrowed fashion cues, her reported claim Diana speaks to her during yoga session.
She can use Princess Diana all she wants to generate press for her ratty little rosé, but Princess Diana would not respect Meghan Markle in a million years.
Royal biographer Tom Bauer wrote that Meghan's long-term goal was to become Diana. William, insiders say, hates the idea, an actual word used by a friend. Hates Harry, meanwhile, looks hollow. People who once cheered his escape now worry he's sedated. Medication may be something stronger. On stage he rambles, forgets questions, rubs the back of his neck until the skin reddens. Aides whisper of emotional management. Loyal staffer James Holt recently liked a string of posts linked to William's charity circle. Royal watchers viewed it as a quiet S. One podcaster said it out loud. Harry doesn't have a partner, he has a handler. Queen Camilla has noticed. With Charles reportedly fighting incurable cancer, Lady Colin Campbell dropped that bomb on a talk show. Camilla has sealed the gate. Harry's calls now route through private secretaries. Meghan's emails bounce. Legal advisors dust off title revocation drafts. An option once unthinkable. Camilla's calculus is stark: protect a crown, even from a king's son. That resolve hardened when funeral planners floated Harry, Meghan, Archie and Lilibet as central participants in Charles's eventual service, an idea that sparked fury inside Clarence House. Camilla's response, insiders claim, was an immediate order to limit Sussex involvement to the bare minimum. While one wall rises around the monarchy, another cracks inside Montecito.
And Meghan Markle has this fascination and obsession, with Princess Diana.
Divorce talk no longer lives in tabloid gutters. It's echoing in London law firms known for ultra-discreet aristocratic splits. An attorney there admits a pseudonymous client profile matches Harry has asked preliminary questions about custody, brand disentanglement, IP. Publishing scouts say Meghan's camp is quietly floating memoir titles: Freedom, Betrayal, Truth. A scorched earth narrative where she is the wounded heroine could be worth tens of millions if she moves before the palace does. That's the chessboard. Whoever makes the first public move seizes the frame. Whoever hesitates risks annihilation. Which is why courtiers now openly fear Meghan's rumored vault. Encrypted drives, hotel camera grabs, voice notes, perhaps a Montecito nest cam capturing unguarded royal conversations. No one outside her circle knows. But everyone has heard the threat: cross me again, and the files come out. Inside Buckingham, crisis teams rehearse worst-case scenarios. The nuclear option could detonate trust in the monarchy overnight, spark calls in Commonwealth parliaments to ditch the crown, crash centuries of brand value. One contingency memo, according to a senior aide, lists a final defensive play: strip the Sussex titles the instant evidence leak. The act would be brutal, publicly severing a prince, but it might be the only way to show the crown draws lines. Yet even that gambit could fail if the footage shows William in a vulnerable moment or Charles in a medical crisis. She's holding a live grenade, the aide said. We just pray the pin stays in. And here stands Harry, eyes glazed, shoulders slumped, perhaps knowing exactly what lies on Meghan's drives, perhaps dreading it as much as the palace does. Staff who still care about him speak of a man in free fall, numbing himself to stay functional. Some fear substance dependency, others fear he's simply given up. They watch Meghan test ever bolder provocations: Diana's birthday, maybe a royal wedding anniversary next, and wonder how long before she steps too far and Harry finally snaps, for better or worse. Meanwhile, Hollywood keeps closing doors. Producers whisper disclaimers. No cameras, no surprises, no Sussex drama. Overnight the couple went from headline royalty to cautionary tale. Without Hollywood's oxygen and with palace channels blocked, Meghan's empire rests on controversy alone. If outrage stalls, revenue stalls. That's why insiders predict escalation. Bigger stunts, sharper provocation, grief marketing dialed to 11. Because when your last currency is chaos, you spend it until it's gone. Inside Buckingham's marbled corridors, silence deepened. Leakers who once fed tabloids now mutter half phrases. Potential exposure, constitutional threat, then shuffle away. Even seasoned courtiers look spooked. The hush itself has become a klaxon. Something is coming. Maybe Meghan will drop a single clip. Maybe Harry's lawyers will file. Maybe Camilla will cut the titles overnight. Whichever fuse lights first, the blast radius will be global. So the royal question hangs heavier each day. Is this the calm before the storm, or did the countdown already start when that pink rosé posted to Instagram on Diana's birthday? Keep your eyes on the silence, because in Windsor history, silence is never empty. It's the sound of walls shifting before they fall. Drop your thoughts below, subscribe, and brace yourself. The next leak could land any minute, and when it does, the House of Windsor may never look the same again.